What's up, guys? Welcome back to TheReviewSpace. Today I'm going to review last night's pay-per-view of WWE SummerSlam, of course, August 19, 2012. Let's begin. They had a pre-show. It was Santino Marella against Antonio Cesaro, with Santino defending the United States Championship. Santino actually went for the cobra, but he was distracted by aksana. Cesaro hits his neutralizer finisher. Really bad name for a finishing move. It should be called something a little bit cooler, you know, to fit his European gimmick. But Cesaro, yes, wins the United States Championship. Big win for Cesaro, man. That's huge, actually. You know, this guy's coming in from ROH, and just within a short while, he's already a U.S. champion. I know that the U.S. title isn't really very meaningful, you know, at this day and age, but at the very least, he's got a title, a singles solo win at a pay-per-view, and that's a big thing. Alright, we have Chris Jericho against Dolph Ziggler. This was really, it's just a feud, you know, there's no titles involved or anything. It's more of a pride thing, you know, it's more of a, the story is Chris Jericho, can he prove himself? Can he actually redeem himself after losing so many pay-per-view matches? Well, Walls of Jericho, Chris Jericho defeats Dolph Ziggler via submission, and this was kind of predictable. I mean, I thought that, yeah, Chris Jericho was going to win this. Dolph Ziggler didn't really need the win necessarily. He already is a Money in the Bank winner, and he's a future champion anyway, so the story going in was that can Chris Jericho actually get a win, and so that was just, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, he actually was able to win and redeem himself. There you go. Daniel Bryan against Kane. Yeah, Daniel Bryan countering the tombstone, and then he gets the small package for the win. There's a lot of crowd reaction here, crowd response rather, for the whole, you know, no, yes dynamic, and yeah, that was kind of cool. Daniel Bryan getting a surprise win over Kane, and it makes sense. Daniel Bryan, the younger star. This guy he's got a future ahead of him, and Kane should definitely be putting over the younger star. Alright, we have The Miz going up against Rey Mysterio. Or is it Batman? Yeah. So Rey comes in with a little cape, and he's got the mask, and he looks basically like Batman from the Dark Knight movies / Christopher Nolan directed films. You know, the Christian Bale style attire, basically. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, you know how Rey is. He likes to wear these superhero costumes. You know, he's been the Flash, Spider-Man, Captain America, and Iron Man, I think. The Joker, even, you know, back in 2009. He likes to do it around the time when the movie comes out, or after the movie has been released, like, you know, when The Dark Knight came out in 2008. Obviously, it took a while for WrestleMania to come along, but, you know, the Joker character itself was really popular, so he decided to don that attire. And so now he's got this Dark Knight Rises, obviously a nod to Dark Knight Rises Batman costume. It's interesting. It's definitely, it adds a little flavor to his gimmick. You know, it adds that extra spice. It makes the pay-per-view kind of worth getting and checking out just to see his costume. I know it's kind of, it's very gimmicky, but at the same time, it just makes it extra special. He's one of these wrestlers that can actually pull off, like, doing something that gimmicky and that cartoonish, and actually make it a draw, because it's part of his, you know, that's his thing. You know, he likes to put on different masks, different colored masks. He's a very colorful character. And unfortunately, even wearing the Batman costume just didn't work out for Rey. The Miz retaining the Intercontinental Championship. And there it is. Miz retains the belt. Alberto Del Rio against Sheamus. I thought this was actually a pretty decent back and forth match. The crowd was really into it. There was a lot of kicking out and false finishes, and then you have Rodriguez. He threw a shoe. I guess it was supposed to be directed towards Alberto, but instead Sheamus catches it and hits Alberto Del Rio, when the referee was basically distracted by Rodriguez. Alberto Del Rio gets pinned. He puts his foot next to on the rope because he was right next to the rope and he's getting the pin. But Sheamus still gets the pinfall, and the referee still counts the 3. So this was obviously a clear screw job. I mean, everybody in the arena was just like, what the fizzle? You know, it was a big WTF moment. It was just a big, like, scratch your head, like, I can't believe they actually screwed, you know, ADR. I mean, yeah, he's the heel, he's the bad guy, but I mean, give me a break, you know, like, what happened to the rules? What happened to continuity? What happened to following and following the rules? It just felt like he was screwed in a very cheap way. Even the crowd that was supposed to cheer for the babyface was like, ugh. You know, it was like, that was obviously a shady finish, and it was not legit, and obviously ADR didn't lose. He put his foot on the rope, so it was kind of like, it turned me off. You know, it definitely turned me off. It made me feel kind of like, ugh, like, I can't believe they did this. It made me feel like the booking was crap. Like, it made it seem that win was tainted. It just wasn't a good ending. It wasn't a good finish. They kind of ruined that ending, I think. They kind of took away the legitimacy, at least from a storyline point of view, from a kayfabe point of view, of taking away that, you know, there's got to be some rules, but when you know, completely just throw it out the window and then you pin a guy, even though clearly he hasn't lost and he's got his foot on the rope, you know, and then you just ignore that. That's kind of dumb. I thought that ADR was actually going to beat up Rodriguez and just kick him out of his, you know, fire him or something like that, but I don't know what's going to happen there. Okay, we got R-Truth and Kofi retaining the tag team titles over the primetime players. This was very predictable, of course, especially without the, what's his name, AEW, or whatever's DW, I don't know, Abraham Washington, yeah. We got John Cena and Big Show, CM Punk in a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. There was some slight confusion. There was a double submission where CM Punk snapped on the Anaconda Vise on Big Show first, and then right away you have John Cena putting on the STF on Big Show as well at the same time, so it was like 2 submissions on Big Show. He taps out, of course, and the referee was like, you know, he signaled for the bell, but it was like, oh my god, who won that? Now, in my opinion, it should have been CM Punk because he put on the lock first. He was there first, so he won that anyway. But so AJ comes out, you know, with her stupid music. Oh my god, that is terrible. And then she basically restarts the match, and so it seemed like maybe Big Show was going to get a chance. You know, he chokeslams both of them, couldn't pin either one. And CM Punk actually gets the pinfall here by stealing John Cena's attitude adjustment move on the Big Show. So that was it. CM Punk retains. I think we all expected CM Punk to retain this one. There it is. And then we have the main event, Brock Lesnar against Triple H in a no DQ match, I believe. This match was it was fairly physical. There was weapons involved, or I don't even know if there was weapons involved. I was barely paying attention until the very end, where Lesnar snapped on a couple of times the lock that he did, the arm lock, Kimura lock, or whatever. And eventually he was just able to snap it on Triple H, just like very, very firmly, in the kind of like in the middle of the ring. And he wins it. Basically, Brock Lesnar defeats Triple H. Triple H taps out. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. It's a wrap. So Lesnar, you know, he leaves the arena and everything, with a smug look in his face, like, yeah, I just own this guy. Triple H does his whole dramatic exit thing where he just kind of like slowly looks at the crowd, kind of like this sad look in his face, like, oh, sorry guys, I let you guys down. And I think he might have said goodbye or something like that as he was leaving. maybe indicate that this might be one of his last matches or something. Maybe he's retiring. Who knows? Maybe the whole thing is just for emotional effect, and he's not actually going to leave. Overall, I thought this pay-per-view was okay. Some of it is worth watching and just checking out. You know, there's certain matches that was actually kind of exciting. Dolph Ziggler against Jericho was alright. Of course, the Alberto and Sheamus match was pretty good. And of course, seeing Rey Mysterio with the Batman, you know, kind of interesting, and Miz winning it. It really was a decent pay-per-view. You know, not the greatest, but you know, you got the Antonio Cesaro win over Santino. So it was okay. You know, not, you know, outstanding by any means, but it certainly was at least worth checking out if you've been following the storyline for the past month or so. Oh, another thing that I forgot was Cesaro's music, though, really sucks. It sounds like the most generic, random, you know, unfitting, by the numbers, crappy music that just pulled out of, like, generic factory. Like, they just pulled it out of WWE's library of crappy jobber music. You know, it doesn't even fit his gimmick. This crappy generic rock riff. I mean, that could be like the bumper music for a stupid game show or something. It's just really crappy. But regardless, to end on a more positive note, best match of the night, Alberto against Sheamus. Except for the ending, that was really stupid. And I gotta say, the ending to the Cena, Big Show, and Punk one was actually pretty, fairly exciting as well. That's pretty much it for this episode of Review Space. Till next time, ciao.